Hi everyone, this is Jen Rose. Welcome to my channel. This is a review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 4, Episode 7, My Bloody Galentines. This episode really delivered. And actually, it pissed me off. I'm going to tell you why in a second, but first I need you guys to like this video, subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for helping me continue to grow. And okay, let's get into it. So it pissed me off because I could tell, I don't know if everybody else could, but I could tell that Tisha, Destiny, and Kimmy, the way they were making eye contact and making faces at each other, they set that whole thing up. They were there to attack Melody, and I didn't like it one freaking bit, but I'm jumping ahead. Let's start from the first scene. Okay, let me calm down. Let's start from the first scene, okay? So Kimmy meets Destiny at Destiny's store and she jumps right into it. She says she wants to know what happened between Melody and Destiny. What was the breakdown of that relationship? Destiny basically said that Melody is a liar. She's making shit up and saying things that aren't true. Kimmy says, well, look, I talked to Melody and she said that you apologized. So what did you apologize for unless you was admitting to something? Destiny says, bottom line is she doesn't want me to be friends with Tisha or Martell. Then Kimmy says, I thought that Tisha and Mel were in a better place. So it really took me by surprise to hear her say that. Now, I said this in my episode 6 review, and I'm going to say it again here. The production team for this scene is bullshit because, again, if you guys are running around picking pictures off of social media during filming to make a part of the show, then y'all could have really pull what happened on that reunion stage and y'all should have made everybody address it. The fact that Tisha was coming at Melody the way she was and everyone's like, oh, we didn't see that, I thought they were cool, is really stupid. Then Kimmy says that there was a time when everybody was genuine friends and they really loved each other. And she wants to see if she can bring all the girls back together to have that moment again. And she invites Destiny to this Galentine. And Destiny, she accepts with a lot of attitude, but she accepts. So in the next scene, Marsau visits his brother Maurice at his office, and they're talking about some construction projects, which opens the door for him to let him know that Martell wants back into Schultz. He says, I said I'd never do business with him, but it looks like he has himself together now. But Maurice says, well, if Tisha is the majority owner, then whose shares is he going to buy? Yours or Tisha's? Marsau basically lets everyone know that Tisha sold her apartment building in order to buy Martell out. And therefore, he knows for a fact she's not going to give up any of her shares. And he didn't think about it that way, but now he's like, he's not buying my shares either. Then Maurice says, I'm not sure if you guys can do business again. I think your relationship is too fractured. And they do a flashback of Martell saying that Marsau had 20 girlfriends. And then Marsau says, you know what? We're going to start small, maybe do a small project like, the Belt Out for Destiny. And he said that becoming partners with Martell again is not off the table, but it's not something that he is going to think about right now. In the next scene, Melody goes and visits her psychotherapist. Her name is Dominique Dillard, and she has been seeing her since after her divorce. She said that she needed to heal herself emotionally and mentally, and I am really glad that she showed this on the show because I know a lot of people are always saying that Melody is still in love with Martell and, she's just pretending, she's just acting. I am glad that she is letting people know that she is doing the work to heal herself. She has 4 children and she is, in the prime of her career. She really has to get herself together. And that is why she did this on the show. I'm really happy for that. There are other people who are on this show who needs to visit somebody. Kudos to her, okay? But Melody shares with Dominique that she had to cut some people out of her life who she called energy vampires. And she said that last year she was very kumbaya Melody, but that's not who she is for 2022. She said that people are going to get it the way they give it, okay? She said that she has been invited to a party and she knows there are people there who may trigger her, turn up the heat. And she said that if they turn up the heat, she plans to turn up right with them. Miss Dominique tells her, you know what, Melody, set those boundaries before you even get to the party. That way you know how to handle yourself better. You'll be more in control. So clearly Melody had to go to this party for her job, but in real life, when someone doesn't like you, keep your ass at home. So in the next scene, Martell meets with Fred, the guy with the builder's license, at his office, and he says right off the bat that since his divorce, he hasn't done much building or any work really, so he is hoping that he can get back into building so that he can start making money. Fred tells Martell that if he's serious about construction, he should get his builder's license. Martell says, everyone keeps telling me that. However, I don't really want to because I have you. Fred says, listen, you and I could fall out tomorrow and you'll be in the same predicament you were in with your ex-wife. Martell says, and I'm paraphrasing, but this is really what he said. My relationship with my ex-wife broke down because I was a hoe and I had an outside baby. But you and I aren't sleeping together, so I am 100% certain that that will never happen. We will always be cool. Now, Fred laughed that off and he told him it was true, but at the same time, I think Martell's reputation is mud in Huntsville, and I don't think a lot of people want to partner with him. I think he's trying to force this partnership with Fred, but if Fred has a job or if something comes up where he doesn't want to associate himself with Martell, he's going to pull his damn license, and I think that's what he's saying to you. Listen, dude, I could take my shit away from you anytime. Go on ahead and get what you need so that you can rely on you and stop relying on everybody else to do something for you. The last scene is the Galentine's event. It opens with Kimmy and Tiffany. They are setting up and Tiffany's trying to do small talk, but Kimmy's not feeling it. She looks like, you know what, girl, just stop talking to me, or can someone else please enter the room because I don't like Tiffany. Like, that is the vibe I am picking up from her through the TV. So then Tisha arrives, right? She has her hair in this ponytail. She has these leather or pleather pink pants on with her tennis shoes and her team wife shirt. Kimmy says, oh, look at your bubblegum pants and your tennis shoes. She completely ignores the team wife shirt, right? Which lets me know right then and there, Kimmy is a part of the setup. Then Tisha greets Tiffany. She's like, oh, you're behind the bar. Glad to see you're doing something you're good at. Now, don't think Tiffany did not pick up on the shade, but she literally, you could tell she was biting her tongue not to say something smart. And to be honest, I wish Tiffany would have said, bitch, what are you good at? Then Mel and Stormy walks in together and they give Kimmy a nice warm hug. Everything's cool, says hello to Tiffany, but Tisha's sitting at the table looking at her cell phone and she does not look up at Melody at all. In confessionals, Melody's like, listen, I haven't seen Tisha in months. And she didn't look up at me when I came in the room and I can feel her energy. I already know that she's on some bullshit in 2022. And Melody said that she had high hopes, but it has all gone down the drain. So I'm like, listen, Mel, she's your enemy. You knew before you walked in the door that you was going to get something. Okay. So might as well let her give it to you early than have her, change her colors later in the game. So Destiny arrives last. It looks like she greets Tisha and Kimmy, but she does not say anything to Stormy or Melody, and it doesn't look like they said anything to her either. Then Kimmy thanks everybody for attending, and she says, listen, this friendship group is fractured, and I don't know if it's fixable, but I'm hoping that everyone will be open to the process, right? Then they all play a game where they have to write down one thing that's true about themselves and one thing that is a misconception. Melody says that she really likes to help people and be there for people, but the misconception is that she's selfish. Tisha writes that she is fun and she likes to have a good time, which is kind of the same thing, I think. But her misconception is that people think she doesn't care about people's feelings. Then she changes it to people think that she's naive, which I found interesting. Melody's facial expression to Tisha when she said that was like, yikes. In confessional, they must have asked her, why did you make that face? Melody said, I have no thoughts about it. And then she said, I'll let y'all decide, okay, whether or not Tisha is naive. Then Stormy wrote that she is empathetic and kind, but that people think she is stuck up and unapproachable. Destiny wrote that she was a visionary, she was a dreamer, she loves people, she roots for the underdog, and that people think that she is aggressive. Kimmy giggled when Destiny said that, and she said, that's your misconception, that people think you're aggressive, and she gave a yikes face. So then Destiny tells Kimmy, don't tell me that I'm aggressive when I say something, because I've actually been doing a lot of work on myself, and I know who I was before. And in my head, I'm like, girl, well, who were you? Mike Tyson? Like, what's up? So right about here is where you can see the plot about to go down. Tisha was texting. Clearly, Marsau gave her the green light. Tisha, it's now or never. Kimmy thanks everybody for playing the game. And she's like, she's about to explain the purpose of it. And Tisha said, can I pause you? Kimmy gives Tisha the floor because, of course, she's in on it. Tisha whips that damn ponytail back and forth, and then she starts rapping Cash Dolls, I heard you bitches were looking for me. Bitch, here I go. And then she tells Melody, I heard your whole party was about Tisha. Destiny is sitting directly across from Mel, and she starts smirking and sipping her drink in a way that was like, oh, girl, you really want this to go down. Then Melody says in the gentlest, kindest tone I have ever heard, who did you hear was saying it? What did you hear was said? And who told you that someone was talking about you? Tisha's like, I heard it was you that was talking about me and my husband, and I heard it from KeKe. Now, she made sure she didn't say Kimmy, which is important because Kimmy tells on herself, but Melody gets on speakerphone. She calls KeKe. Tisha tells her, you're on speaker, so please be honest. KeKe said, I'm going to be, and I don't appreciate you suggesting I'm going to do something different. Then Stormy chimes in and said, KeKe, I think it was you who was mostly talking about Tisha. Then KeKe says, girl, it was you who initiated the whole damn conversation. Then Kimmy, the bone carrier, Scott 2.0 ass says, KeKe, let me help you out. I think you had your fair share to say about Tisha in Mel's kitchen. And if you remember, I told you that if you felt this way, you needed to pick up the phone and call Tisha. Then KeKe said, I didn't say anything that wasn't true. And Kimmy said, well, that's way different from not saying anything at all. And then Melody hung up the phone. So then Melody says, Tisha, you were not the topic of discussion for the majority of my party. We discussed the picture that your husband posted. And Stormy said, and I was the one who brought that up, okay? Stormy says, the only reason why your name came up is because your cousin brought you up. Tisha said, well, that's interesting that my cousin was there at all. You didn't invite me, so why was my cousin there? Melody was like, I met your cousin before I even knew you. Tisha says, just because you met her doesn't mean that y'all were cool. Then Tisha said, you and I were friends. And then I saw Kimmy's face. This is a horrible picture, but I don't give a damn. Kimmy's face, she looks so proud of Tisha, like, yeah, get her, girl. Tell her everything that I taught you to say. Because Tisha don't even come across that quick. You feel me? But in my head, I was like, so Kimmy's acting like she's supposed to be a mediator when this whole thing was an ambush. And if Stormy wasn't there, Melody would have been sitting there all by herself. Because who knows where Tiffany went during this scene. But I wish Melody would have said, listen, Heffa, we stopped being friends when I figured out that you and your husband were capable of coming into my home where me and my children sleep, where I have to keep them safe, sitting at my table, eating my food, asking me for money, and I gave it to you, smiling at me with all of your teeth, while at the same time covering for Martell. Then Tisha says, I have a problem with you talking about me and my husband when we weren't there. Then Melody said, you have a problem with all of us then. Then Tisha points at Melody and says, no, I have a problem with you, Mel. Then Melody said, listen, this shit is childish and I ain't here for it. Then Destiny chimes in. She looks at Kimmy first and says, didn't you say that Melody only invited people that she wanted to come into 2022 with her? And Kimmy's like, yeah, but now Tisha and Destiny are talking at Melody at the same time. Melody says, listen, this conversation is between me and Destiny. I want to keep it between me and Destiny. Tisha's like, oh, like she's offended. Destiny says, well, you stopped being friends with me because you didn't want me to be friends with Tisha, and that's childish. And you called Tisha the ops. And then Tisha says, the ops? I don't even know what that means. And then Kimmy chimes in to define the word ops. Tisha, ops is a military term. It's short for opposition. And in that moment, I wanted to punt Kimmy like a football. Then Melody tells Destiny that her issue wasn't that she was friends with Tisha. Her issue was that she had overheard them talking about her. Destiny starts over-talking Melody. Oh, girl, stop. Oh, girl, stop. Then Tisha jumps in it too, but I have no idea what the hell she's saying. But she's also over-talking. Melody looks at Tisha and says, first of all, bitch, I wasn't talking to you. Tisha jumps up. Melody and Stormy jumps up too, okay? It looks like Tiffany is trying to push Tisha back down. Kimmy jumps up. She tells Melody, we can't call people out their name. Melody said, listen, don't bring me around people I don't fool with. Then Melody said that she hates when she's talking to Destiny, and Tisha got to jump in it. She did the same thing at the reunion. And that was the first time the reunion shit was addressed with Tisha in the room. And right at that moment, the camera caught Destiny staring at Melody with like a half smirk and a half like a menacing stare. Like if she could, she would have reached across the table and ripped Melody's soul out of her body. Then Kimmy says, if this is going to work, we're going to have to speak respectfully to each other. Melody says, well, nobody was speaking respectfully when they were calling everybody girl, girl. Then Kimmy says, well, Melody, I told everyone not to say that before you got here. And I was like, listen, girl, you can't be the mediator and a part of the attack crew. So that's why you didn't say anything, because it would have been just as easy for you to tell them, hey, don't say that. I asked you guys not to say that, just like you told Melody not to call anyone out of their name. Then Stormy asked Destiny to explain why her and Melody weren't friends. Des says, let Melody tell you. And that went on like for back and forth for a minute. Then finally Kimmy was like, why don't one of y'all say it at this point? I don't care who, but Melody can tell it just as much as Destiny, but she was actually on Destiny's side when she said it. I want to point that out. That's how it sounded to me. Anyway, Melody was trying to explain it, but she described the friendship in past tense. So she said the friendship we had. Then Destiny's hood rat ass slides her chair back and says, had, okay, like she is about to fight Melody. Kimmy says, listen, it won't be that, not while I'm the moderator. Well, Kimmy, you're a horrible moderator because it's been that for a fucking minute. Then Destiny tried to play it off. What? I just said had. I just repeated what she said. So Kimmy let her have it. It was like, well, that's not progress for you to do that to her if she's trying to explain it to you. And in my head, I'm like, y'all, just shut this whole entire scene down because it's just out of control at this point. Then Kimmy tells Destiny, you're being aggressive with me and I haven't done shit to you. Destiny says, you're right. Go ahead, Melody, which triggers the hell out of Stormy because now she's like, I wouldn't go after that. Go ahead, Melody. Like she mimics it. And then Stormy and Destiny gets into it. Destiny starts mimicking Stormy. Stormy says some shit like, that's what's up. And then Destiny repeated it. And then Stormy is like, oh, okay, I can see what this is. You want to be me. That's okay. I get it. If I was you, I would want to be me too. Melody and Kimmy are doing everything they can to keep a straight face because I know they wanted to burst into laughter. You could just tell. But even though they wanted to laugh, Stormy and Destiny were dead ass serious. Next thing I know, Destiny jumps out of her seat. Stormy jumps out of hers. And Destiny needed to be escorted out of the room. And that is how it ended. So we are going to get a part 2 next week. And it looks like we are going to pick up exactly where we left off here at the party. And I am hoping, it looks like Melody is going to say some very choice things to Tisha about Marsau. But I am hoping that Melody tells us the private conversation that she had with Destiny. Because the fight scene with Destiny and Stormy stopped Melody from sharing that information. And the way Destiny piecemeals conversations, we'll never get it. So whatever's going on between the two of them is much deeper than, oh, you said Tisha was the ops. That's not what happened, okay? It's something else. So you guys let me know what y'all think about this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.